Hey guys, what's growing? It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. It was a wonderful weekend, but now it's time to get back to work. So the first thing I'm going to tackle on the farm this morning is the irrigation issue. So I think I have a fix for the low pressure in the system to get the irrigation going up to the top of the bed on the Three Sisters garden. So I've got all the equipment I need to do that. I'm going to run down all of that with you in here in the greenhouse and show you how it's going to go, because where the irrigation actually is covered in bees because they're thirsty, and this is where the water is kind of like dripping and pooling. And so I'm gonna have to be super careful not to get stung. I'm gonna have to move slowly and make sure I don't crush anybody or do anything like that. And it'll be kind of hard to film at the same time. So I will film, I'll show you what the parts that I'm gonna use, where they're gonna go, how they're gonna work, and then I'm gonna install them and I'll show you the after. I mean, I might be able to set up nearby so you can watch, but I just wanna make sure I don't get stung. So let me show you what I'm talking about first. Okay, here's the mess of the irrigation system. All these plants out here I just need to deal with, but I haven't had time. So you can see right here, that is the just the hand watering part, and you see all the bees. That's because it's old, it's been run over a bunch of times, and it drips. So it's not a ton of water, but it's enough for them. So when I go to use that, I have to be super careful, pick it up very slowly. Most of them fly away. It might be a couple that hang around while I use it. And I just am very, very careful so that I don't crush anybody. They generally don't bother me at all. Like, they're not interested in me, but if you crush one by accident, they release a pheromone, and that triggers the sting swarm, basically. So I just want to try to avoid that. Now, it's cold again this morning, so I'm kind of lucky. Not everybody's out. The sun's not up yet. It will get way more full of bees over here if the sun comes out today and it gets warmer. So where we're going to fix this is right here. So this assembly over here is on one timer. This is the drip tape, and it has a splitter here that splits the runs. Every time the timer goes off, it runs one side or the other. And so I got two more of these valves. One to replace this one because it's getting really old and it doesn't switch every time, and I have to make sure that all of the beds get watered. I'm going to put the same thing on this timer so that whenever it goes off, it will work either side of the. Basically, it creates two zones for you out of one. So right now, I just have this one zone. It comes down here, and there's a T intersection. So I'm going to remove that T, pull the tubing up from here and here. Those will be the two separate zones, and I'll attach the splitter there. And hopefully, I've got all the parts I need for that, and we'll resolve this problem. Success! Gosh, I can't tell you how excited I am about this, that it works. Man, that just is a relief. So all this up here in the Three Sisters garden is now working. The drip is now working. I mean, it's still not excellent, pressure, but it's the fact that there's any water up here at all is a bonus. So yeah, that's great. I won't have to hand water anymore, but I will have to put it on a slightly higher frequency than normal, just because it's still got to get up this slope. But that means that right now, this area and this bed right here are covered by this one zone, and the bed behind the greenhouse and all of these are on a separate zone, and I will add to that zone these guys so that I don't have to water them. That will be pretty easy because this zone doesn't have as much on it. And then I can also add this bed to that zone. So, that's so great. However, I don't think I'm going to do those additions today because I don't know that I have all the parts I need for that. So I'll just hand water these guys again. They're looking okay. They're a little yellow, but it's all right. Now I need to focus on harvest. Actually, scratch that. I do need to hand water a few things and clean this area up. It's a disaster. It's just a mess. Okay, it's 2 days later. Sorry about that. I've been super busy, but the exciting thing is my CSA for spring is done. I finished my last deliveries today, and now I'm going to focus this afternoon on some upgrades I need to make in the chicken run coop. Basically, I'm going to be installing their automatic opening and closing door. And in order to do that, I need to do a number of things. One, I have to make a new ramp for them because the current door that's on there is the ramp. So in order to install the automatic door, the current door is going to have to stay closed permanently, which is fine. But I need to make a ramp for them to go in its place. So a couple things I'm going to do with that ramp. Since it is a mobile coop, I want to be able to move it without having a permanent ramp there, dragging it down. So I'm going to put this ramp on a hinge so that I can pull it up, and I'll probably put a hook and eye on so I can close, the ramp, so I can move with the coop without having to worry about the ramp getting torn off or causing a problem. So there's that. And I also need to install little, runners on the ramp to help them. However, this ramp is actually probably going to work a little bit better. It is a redwood fence slat, so it's really rough. I was going to sand it, but now that I'm looking at it and feeling it, it's not bad. It's not like they're going to get a bunch of splinters on it. That was my big worry. So I've already cut the length that I need. I'm going to use the other length to dig a hole in front of or a trench in front of the door that swings inward. I'm going to do it on the outside so I can slot that board in so that nothing can dig under and they can't dig out because they do like to dig around that door, and there's plenty of space for things to crawl under that way. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. Hopefully I'll get to the actual door installation today, but we'll see. Well, that was easy, and that's going to keep things from digging in and keep these crazy birdies from digging out, because they do like to dig back there. So it's not in there like super deep or anything, but it's enough, and we'll just have to remember to step over it. I mean, we could pull it out if we wanted to, but I don't think we'll need to. So not going to get around to putting the new door on today. I need to go get the correct blades for the reciprocating saw, but I will do that tomorrow, probably afternoon, because tomorrow I have a lot of work to do out at the farm. Tomorrow we're going to be flipping beds. I'm going to get bags of compost, and we are going to pull out the ranunculus. We're going to broad fork the beds, lay down fertilizer, and then we're going to put the compost on top, and then lay brand new drip tubing, because the tubing that's out there is completely clogged. And it's working so much better in the new bed that was the tulip bed, and I replaced the tubing there. It's working great. So gonna do the same thing every time I flip a bed out there. Also this week, I had hoped to do it tonight, but we had some changes with family stuff. I'm going to go out to the potential new property and start taking measurements. I need to find out if it's going to be worth the cost of moving to move the farm. I think it will be. It's definitely a bigger space. I haven't drug a tape, but if I just go on Google Maps, and I can use the measuring tool, and I measured what I'm currently growing in compared to what I will have access to there, and it's a 2,000 square foot difference bigger at this other place. So that's a lot. That's a lot of square footage. I mean, this whole area, the chicken run, and my whole entire garden is only 1,700 square feet. So an additional 2,000 square feet on top of what I'm growing on at the farm, that's a lot. Basically, it's a tenth of an acre. So I started putting together all of the, all the line items for the costs yesterday, but a lot of it's going to come down to how much space it is, where I can place greenhouses, hoop houses based on the sun, and all that kind of stuff. I just need to do a lot of research. I don't know how the irrigation system is set up out there. I don't even know if there is water, but I think it's going to need a lot of work. I may have to dig and put actual water lines in instead of just you know, mainline tubing to run to drip and everything. So yeah, there's a lot to investigate, but I need to get moving on that because if we decide to do this, then I need to start clearing that land so that it can stay under silage tarps until October. Because I think I've said before, right now it is covered in about at least 5 to 6 feet tall of hemlock, poison hemlock, and cardoons and thistles. I mean, it's nasty. It's actually going to be really hard to get through there to measure. I'm going to bring a string trimmer out because I think it's going to be too sharp and dangerous to walk through, and I imagine it's loaded with snakes. And I don't want to step on one and accidentally get bit. It's getting warm enough now, the snakes are out, and rattlesnakes live here, so I want to make sure I don't do something stupid. Anyway, yeah, so I need to have a firm grasp on the space out there. It'll help me figure out how many hours it will take to clear. I'm still trying to work out what the best tools to use for that is. I could bush hog all of it, rent a bush hog and bush hog it all, but that's going to leave all the roots of that stuff in the ground. It's still going to need to be tilled, yes, but those are things that I don't want coming back. I am actually more leaning along the lines, and this is something I normally wouldn't do, but because I have to have a quick turnaround for planting, I'm kind of more inclined to literally rent like a skid steer and scrape off the top 6 inches or so. Like I said, it used to be a horse arena, so I don't even know. I mean, there may just be a layer of gravel under all the stuff that's growing on top of it. So won't know until I get out there and do some experimentation to figure out what the situation is and whether or not it's going to be worth the money. So yeah, lots to do on that front. The lilies are starting to come in at the farm, which is great, and the feverfew here is getting real close. All of it getting real close, which is great. I love feverfews so much. I can't wait to start harvesting this. So there's a little lady beetle right there. Yeah, so we do have flowers. We've still got some of this Phacelia. We've got straw flower coming in. Look how pretty that is. The status is producing enough to be cut. We've got some scabiosa that I'm cutting on, and snapdragons. You know, they're tall, but they're not giving me as much production as they did last year. It's just been a really hard year. Look at these beautiful white straw flower. They have a tiny bit of pink blush in them. And then the Nigella, which was self-sown, I mean, not self-sown, it was direct sown. That is coming up, which is nice because I'm using that in bouquets. This is all Daucus. That is the tallest I've ever grown Daucus. Here is a head right here. You can see that. Very pretty. This unfortunately is not chocolate lace flower, or it would be a cherry chocolate color. And still picking on the Ami and the Orlea, but that is starting to go. Oh, this is chocolate lace flower. See the difference in color in that flower head? Yeah, it's really cool. So we also have another succession of this out at the farm, which is good because I'll need it because this will start to peter out. Tomatoes coming along, but everything needs to be fertilized. I need to, you know, there's just a lot of small jobs to do out here. So tomorrow is going to be farm day, at least for most of the day. And then I'll get the blades for the saw so we can stop back here and hopefully get this door installed. I'm excited about it. And I love the way the little ramp turned out. I think it's gonna be super cute. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up so I can get it edited and out to you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for the last couple days over the course of this video. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.